Welcome to Behind Two Pallets. Today is part 3 of our 4-part series on Survivor perks. We are covering lightweight through self-care today.
Bill, you're still not looking too great. At least the worm is gone.
Oh, Hatch, the worm, he's still here somewhere. He's just being shy today. Maybe next week.
We'll be covering 24 perks today. Same format, we'll do 12 perks, take a break for the play of the week, then finish off with the last 12 perks.
I'm your host, Zombie Bill Overbeck.
And I'm Rupture.
Spin Cycle Connoisseur.
Let's take a quick look at last week's board.
We had a good number of S-tier perks last week.
If you missed parts 1 and 2, make sure to check the description for links to those episodes. The first perk we have up is Lightweight. Tell us about it, Bill.
Lightweight changes the time your scratch marks stay visible. Instead of being visible for 10 seconds, they're only visible for 7 seconds. A reduction of 3 seconds at tier 3.
Doesn't sound that appealing.
Yeah, this perk isn't that great. You can run fixated with it to get a good idea about how scratch marks work. The reduction could lead the killer to think you are further away than you really are and cause them to lose chase or to give up chase. I'm still gonna say this is an E tier perk.
Sad, our first perk of the day is already in the trash.
Lithe is on deck. What is this perk?
Lithe is an exhaustion perk, meaning once you use it, you cannot use it or any other exhaustion perks until you've recovered from the exhaustion status.
Must be a pretty decent perk if it has exhaustion tied to it.
Indeed, Lithe activates whenever you fast vault a window or pallet. You gain 150% speed for 3 seconds. Your exhaustion lasts for 40 seconds.
You know how we feel about exhaustion perks, right?
Yes. Consider giving yourself a challenge when you become better at the game. Drop exhaustion perks and rely on your skill. I place Lithe at A tier, however.
It is a solid perk, a good alternative to Dead Hard when you don't have good ping or you feel Dead Hard doesn't work for you, or in our case, when you feel Dead Hard is too strong.
This next perk was recently buffed, but actually received a nerf to the buff before it ever made it to the live servers.
That's right. Lucky Break was just buffed to remove scratch marks as well as bleeding when you are injured. This effect lasts a maximum of 60 seconds, so you want to get healed as quickly as possible. This perk would pair well with inner healing and teammates with Will Make It.
At minimum, you want to take a medkit, so if you win your chase and lose the killer, you can heal quickly.
It also pairs well with Bite the Bullet and Iron Will. I placed this perk at C tier for the fact that it only lasts for 60 seconds. It's a solid perk though, and could be fun to use.
Okay, Lucky Break on the board.
Mettle of Man is up, or MOM for short.
I still remember playing this perk when it first came out. It was so broken.
They quickly nerfed the perk.
They did. Now it requires 3 protection hits to activate. Once active, any damage you take that would normally put you on the ground is now blocked, similar to being hit when you have borrowed time.
What's the downside?
Well, once you've been healed after using it, your aura is shown to the killer anytime you are further than 16 meters away. This perk goes well with inner strength and breakout, since you'll be wanting to take hits while the killer is carrying someone.
Sounds pretty fun.
It is, but it's a more advanced perk, and getting value from it will require a certain playstyle and will prevent you from working on generators if you're trying to get this value. I put this perk at D tier.
MOM is getting the D.
No Mither is up next.
No Mither is an interesting perk. It rarely gets used because it makes you permanently injured the entire game. It just received a slight buff to make you 75% quieter from grunts of pain and also makes you recover 25% faster. A solid buff to the perk. The perk also allows you to pick yourself up off the ground any number of times until your bleed out meter expires.
So for the perk to have value, the killer needs to slug you?
Correct. So you really need teammates around to keep you from getting picked up by the killer.
Sounds like this perk is a bad one.
On its own, yes, but consider running Resilience, Dead Hard, maybe even Iron Will for the full silence to make maximize use of this perk.
No Mither can be fun to run for a challenge. This perk doesn't go well against Oni since you'll be always dropping blood orbs. If the killer is also running Thanatophobia, your injury will mean the killer is always getting Thanatophobia slowdown.
This is an E tier perk, but again, it's fun to play around with and when you want a challenge or just to have some fun.
Agreed. It's mostly a challenge perk or a perk you run for the memes.
No One Left Behind is up next.
You don't see many people using this perk.
I've rarely seen it.
No One Left Behind only comes into play once an exit gate is open, so at most you're going to have 2 to 4 minutes to use this perk during the endgame collapse.
Okay, but what does the perk do?
I'm getting there. It increases your action speed by 50% for unhooking and healing of other survivors.
You also gain 150% bonus to blood points in the altruism category.
Pair this perk with Desperate Measures, We'll Make It, Botany Knowledge, or even We're Gonna Live Forever to maximize your healing speeds in endgame. You may want Borrowed Time for those fast and safe unhooks in the endgame. I rate this perk D tier for the main fact that you never get any value from it, or if you do, it's very short-lived.
Fair enough. Let's get it on the board at D tier.
Object of Obsession is up.
Object, as we'll call it, is an aura perk. It lets you see the killer's aura anytime the killer sees your aura. You also gain a 6% speed increase to healing, repairing, and cleansing totems.
Also, if you are the obsession and using the perk, every 30 seconds your aura is shown to the killer for 3 seconds, meaning you also get to see the killer for those 3 seconds every 30 seconds.
That's right. With this perk, you can find out what other perks the killer is running, like barbecue, I'm all ears, etc.
Any perks you'd run with this?
There is no other perks you have to use with Object to make it useful, but it's fun to run all the other aura reading perks like Dark Sense, Alert, or Kindred. This perk can be fun to use, and you can use your aura to fake the killer. I rate this a C tier perk, and it takes some skill to use wisely.
Object on the board at C tier.
Next up is Off the Record.
Off the Record is a blend of Iron Will and Distortion. Anytime you are unhooked or unhook yourself, you have 8 seconds where you make no sound from your injuries and your aura is hidden from the killer if they try to read it.
Seems like this is a perk that is better than Distortion and gives you both Iron Will and Distortion effects when they count.
Exactly. If you like the effects of Iron Will and Distortion, this perk is really nice. I would take this perk over Distortion any day. Iron Will, on the other hand, is stronger to have on its own. I place this perk at C tier, but you'll probably see far less than what you think of this. I say it's a bit of an underused perk.
Off the Record at C tier. A bit of a stretch, but let's go with it.
Open-Handed is up next.
Open-Handed is pretty useless on its own, but it does buff your teammates' aura reading ranges even if you have no other perks yourself. Open-Handed increases your aura reading ranges by 16 meters.
You need some other perks to get real value. What perks are you thinking?
Kindred is a must if you have this perk. You can also gain some good value from Bond, Plunderers, or even the buffed Any Means Necessary. It's tough to rate this perk on its own since it's designed to buff other perks. Considering that, I'll take it as if it was paired with Kindred, which allows you to see the killer 32 meters from the hook.
That's some good distance and gives you a good indication of where the killer went.
Open-Handed gets my nod at C tier.
On the board it goes.
Pharmacy is up. All yours, Rup.
Pharmacy is a looting perk. It allows you to open chests 80% faster.
That is so fast.
Indeed. Also, the first chest you open guarantees an emergency medkit. This perk is great with Plunderer's Instinct, Appraisal, and Ace in the hole.
Don't forget to take your coins for extra chests.
This is a fun perk and items can be very strong, but they are mostly strong when you start the trial with them. Looting chests takes time away from doing the objective, but it is fun. This perk is a D tier perk on its own, though.
Pharmacy is on the board at D tier.
We just talked a bit about Plunderer's Instinct. Tell us more, Bill.
Plunderer's Instinct allows you to see the aura of chests that are within 32 meters of you. It also grants a better chance of finding an item of higher rarity.
Like we just said, you want to pair this with other perks to maximize value. Chest spawns are not hard to find on their own.
Right. Take Appraisal, Ace in the Hole, Pharmacy, and a coin. I put this in D tier with all the other looting perks.
Sounds good. Let's get it on the board.
We're almost through the first half, and up next is Poised.
Poised is a perk that is active only 5 times during the game and is only active for 10 seconds at a time. The perk hides your scratch marks for 10 seconds each time a generator is completed.
Doesn't sound like a very good perk.
It's not. There's almost no value to this perk whatsoever. If the killer is not nearby, you don't need to hide your scratch marks. If the killer is nearby, they are likely going to see you when you're running away.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I throw this perk in the trash, aka E tier.
Yep, on the board at E tier.
We reached the halfway point. Time for a quick break to take a look at our play of the week.
This week better be more exciting than the play you snuck in here last week.
Trying to open the gate with 2 gens left still?
Let's take a look.
Check out these spins.
Oh man, that was a nice one.
Corn vision.
No, not
Corn
again.
vision. Corn vision.
Gotta admit, those were pretty good spins, hey Bill?
What do we have here?
Oh, you know, probably the best 360 deception you'll ever see.
Oh, feels bad. Feels bad. I got stuck.
Wait for it.
Oh my god.
That was unbelievable. Or, I mean, unbelievable.
Well, that was fun. Let's get rolling on the rest of the perks. I believe you're up with Power Struggle.
Power Struggle is a fun perk. However, on its own, it's pretty worthless. You have to run a few other perks to even try to get value from it. Power Struggle lets you drop a pallet to save yourself if you reach 25% wiggle.
Basically, you can pallet save yourself.
Exactly. So to get the most value, you need Flip Flop, Unbreakable, and potentially Tenacity as well, so you can crawl into a pallet.
But if the killer is smart, they won't fall for the same trick twice.
Yeah, then they'd just let you bleed out on the ground. But let's face it, not that many killers are knowers.
Well, at our MMR, they are, and this perk will get you slugged more often than not.
Power Struggle builds can be fun, but overall this perk is going on our board at E tier.
Another one of those perks that are fun, but realistically give you no value most game. To the bottom.
Premonition is up next.
Premonition is an information perk. You get an audio notification whenever you look within 45-degree angle of the killer that is within 36 meters of you. Premonition has a cooldown of 30 seconds.
Premonition seems like a weaker version of Spine Chill.
Kinda, yeah. Spine Chill is based on the killer looking at you, and Premonition is based on your camera pointing at the killer. Paired with Spine Chill, you can tell when the killer is looking at you and which direction they're coming from.
I feel like with Spine Chill, you can mostly tell based on game sense where the killer is coming from.
I agree. Premonition might be good for newer players, but eventually Spine Chill on its own is going to give you far more value for the perk slot, which makes this perk obsolete. I rate this a D tier perk. You'll get value every game from this perk, but there are better options out there.
Premonition on the board at D tier.
Here we are with Prove Thyself.
Prove Thyself is a gen progression perk. It only takes effect if another survivor is within 4 meters of you. Basically, this perk is designed for co-op gen repair. When 2 or more survivors are working on a generator, there is an efficiency penalty. This perk helps negate that penalty.
This is one of those perks if your team is struggling to make it a fun match where at least a couple people can escape, you might want to consider using this perk. However, if you're an experienced Swift team, like Dead Hard, there's really no reason to use this perk. Generators are already fast.
We do recommend trying to make the games fun. Games can be much more exciting when lives are on the line and the last generator or gates are the only thing between you and winning or dying.
Agreed. It's not very exciting to slam 5 gens when the killer has 3 hooks, then have the one exciting part be farming them off the hook with borrowed time and DS. Not exciting at all.
Regardless of what we think is fun, we can't deny that Prove Thyself is an S tier perk.
True. Let's get it on the board.
On to Quick and Quiet. Tell us about it, Rup.
Quick and Quiet is an anti-noise perk. It allows you to fast vault pallets and windows or enter and exit lockers fast without making a sound. There is a cooldown of 20 seconds.
Doesn't sound that useful.
On its own, it is not, but this perk does pair well with Head-On or Lithe, for instance. It can save you some time and can trick the killer that doesn't hear you vault. I rate this a D tier perk on its own, but it's way better combined with another perk.
I do like Quick and Quiet with Head-On. Let's get Quick and Quiet on the board.
Red Herring. This perk is a bit fishy, isn't it?
Stop trying to be funny. Red Herring is a distraction perk. It's not nearly as fun as Pebble, but it still can be fun. To use this perk, you must first work on a generator for 3 seconds. After the generator is highlighted in yellow, it stays highlighted until it is completed. You work on another generator or enter a locker. If you enter a locker, it will trigger a loud noise notification for the killer at that generator location.
After activating it, the perk is on cooldown for 40 seconds.
This perk goes well with Quick and Quiet and Blast Mine. I rate this perk a D tier perk as well.
This perk can be fun to keep the killer occupied, but you need to know where your teammates are and what generators they're working on to get good value out of it.
Or you can just sandbag your teammates.
That's evil. Let's get it on the board.
Repressed Alliance is up. What does this perk do?
Repressed is a perk that allows survivors to block a generator. First, you must work on a generator for 45 seconds. This number was just reduced. It used to be 60 seconds. Once you've done that, you can press the active ability button while on the generator you're currently repairing to block the generator for 30 seconds.
So no one can work on it for 30 seconds?
Correct, but it also means the killer cannot use Pop Goes the Weasel on that gen. Additionally, something that is overlooked a lot is that the entity block generator pauses all regression. So if you get chased off a generator that is nearly done and Ruin is active, you can save it from regressing for 30 seconds.
I see. So you hope your teammates can make it over to the generator and finish it off when it wears off?
Yes, since all the survivors can see the block generator, it has a white aura during that time. I rate this perk a C tier perk, but it does take a bit of game sense to maximize value of the perk.
Let's get it on the board at C tier.
Up next is Resilience.
Resilience is a perk that is only active when you are injured. Your action speeds while repairing, healing, sabotaging, unhooking, vaulting, cleansing, opening, and unlocking is increased by 9%.
So pretty much everything you do is faster by 9%.
Yes, but you have to be injured. This perk doesn't need any other perks to get value, and it's a strong perk if you're a good runner. You can also pair it with Spine Chill.
Consider taking a medkit. You can heal yourself to 99% and get extra value from Resilience. Then finish off the heal if the killer comes to you. Easy to do if you have Spine Chill.
It's not wise to try this against Doctor or against stealth killers if you don't have Spine Chill or Premonition. I rate this an A tier perk. It provides that extra speed to every action.
Yeah, and with Spine Chill, you'll be vaulting faster than ever. Let's get it on the board.
Let's see. Resurgence is our next perk.
Resurgence is a newer perk from the Resident Evil DLC. It is a healing perk. Every time you are unhooked, your healing progress starts at 50%.
Doesn't sound like much, but a standard heal is 16 seconds, so if your bar starts at 50, that makes the heal only 8 seconds.
Exactly. With Will Make It, you're talking 4 seconds.
If the killer is running Sloppy Butcher, this perk is even more valuable.
Indeed, and being healed is one of the best ways to ensure survival and longer chases. I rate this an S tier perk. There is no perk you really need to run with this, but take a medkit. A brown medkit can heal you 2 times off the hook.
Get that perk up there.
Up next is Rookie Spirit. Tell us about it, Bill.
Rookie Spirit is a general perk. To get value from this perk, you first have to complete 3 skill checks on a generator. Once completed, the perk is active for the rest of the game. Anytime a generator begins regressing, you see the aura of that generator.
Seems like it might be okay for newer players.
True, but most players can pretty much anticipate what generator the killer is at, or if it's going to be regressing. I think you get more value from a perk like Alert if you want to know if a killer kicked a generator.
Yeah, if the killer has Ruin, you know they are regressing.
I rate this perk an E tier perk. You can get value from it, but not enough to justify ranking this higher.
Okay, Rookie Spirit to the bottom.
Next up is Saboteur.
Saboteur, or Sabo for short, is a hook denying perk. It allows you to break a killer's hook. The sabotaging takes 3 seconds to complete and has a cooldown of 60 seconds.
This perk also shows you all the auras of all the hooks within 56 meters of the location the survivor was picked up from.
That should help to find the closest hook and help you get there to Sabo in time. This perk typically gets your teammates slugged, allowing another teammate to get them up while you get chased. There are not a lot of perks needed to pair with Saboteur, although a teammate with Leader can boost your Sabo speed.
Can't you Sabo with most toolboxes?
Indeed. I would recommend a toolbox with Sabo add-ons instead of using this perk. This perk can be nice if you have a Sabo challenge, but otherwise it's trash. E-tier perk. But again, don't let that stop you from running it and trying to make some plays with it.
Trash perk gets trash rating. E-tier, let's go.
We're almost done. Second Wind is up next.
Second Wind is a self-healing perk. Its name is changing to Renewal soon. To activate the perk, you must first heal another survivor for 1 health state. After that, the next time you are unhooked, you will be broken for 20 seconds. And after those 20 seconds go by, you will be automatically healed.
However, if you are downed by the killer within those 20 seconds, Renewal deactivates and won't heal you.
This perk seems good, but the activation requirements mean there are times you get unhooked. You won't get any value. Considering you can only be unhooked 2 times, getting value from this perk is not worth the effort.
Sounds like inner healing or a medkit are better options.
Yes, but if you're going to run this perk, you may want to take some other perks like Empathy, Will Make It, Desperate Measures, to name a few. I rate this an E-tier perk. Try it out if you want to change up the gameplay a bit and give yourself a challenge.
Okay, let's get it on the board.
Our last perk of the episode, and it's Rupture's personal favorite. He never leaves the lobby without it.
What do you mean? I never use this perk. We consider this perk the killer's best perk.
That is true. Running this perk does nothing good for the survivor team, but it does work wonders for the killer.
Self-care is a perk that allows you to heal yourself without a medkit at 50% of the speed.
Just so you know, a normal heal is 16 seconds, and a heal with Sloppy Butcher active is 20 seconds.
That means with self-care, a heal is 32 seconds and 40 seconds respectively. That means almost half a generator, or exactly half a generator if the killer is using Sloppy Butcher.
There is one good benefit of this perk. It reduces the consumption rate of your medkit by 20%.
True. If you want to use this perk, combine it with Botany Knowledge and Streetwise and bring a medkit. Use the medkit to heal, since you will be able to get a lot of heals out of a good medkit, and it will be faster with those perks. I rate this perk an E-tier perk on its own, but viable with the other perks I mentioned.
Indeed, this is a trash perk. You're better off locating your teammates for a heal or working on a generator until a teammate finds you. Run Bond to help you find teammates if you have to. Anything besides running self-care. To the board.
What a day, Bill. We powered through another 24 perks. That puts us at 72 of the 95 perks. Next week, we have the final 23 perks.
This week, we only put 1 perk on S tier and had a few A tier perks.
And a lot of E tier perks.
No surprise there. I do think we'll see some more S tier perks next week, though.
Bill, I think you need to go find a doctor to get this issue checked out. It's not looking any better.
You're not looking any better. Mind your own business. Thanks for watching part 3 of our 4-part series on Survivor perks. I'm your host, Zombie Bill Overbeck.
And I'm Rupture.
Spin Cycle Connoisseur. Signing off until next week.
See you next week.